people. So the mission was for us to share the skill of graffiti with people in Sierra Leone. In a lot of ways in Sierra Leone, some things are at a standstill, or some things don't flow as freely as they would in other countries, after the war there. But Sierra Leone it was really, really nice. We got a chance to paint the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. So that was quite an experience. We had, the workshop was a 2-day workshop. It was a 2-day workshop in which a 2-day workshop. The first day, actually, let me rewind a little bit. Funny enough, when we were gonna head over there, personally, they kept asking me, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And to be perfectly honest, I didn't have a clue, because I didn't have a clear understanding of the parameters of the, there was certain too many unknowns. Like I didn't see the location. I didn't have a clear understanding of what they needed painting. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it was only 15 minutes before the workshop started that I was actually able to put together like a clear plan. And so, but what I did is I made sure that before I put together a list of things that would go into making a workshop operate really thoroughly and properly. So so we got out there, and I was also working with some artists from Spray Creative, and they live in Hull. And actually Hull and Freetown have like a existing ongoing relationship, and so they were there. Basically, they were assisting in the workshop as well. So we put together a plan. The plan was day number 1, just get everybody used to spray cans, let them see how to do a clear line, let them see how to do a fill-in, let them learn a little bit about fading, let them learn a little bit about outlining, let them see how the pressure of a can works, let them learn a little something about skinny caps, fat caps. Basically, just let them get a little bit loose with it. Let them ask questions, trial and error. So we did that. It was fantastic to really see, because for the first time, of 99% of the people, 98% of the people that were there, 96, because there was only 20 people. 96% of the people that were there never touched a spray can in their lives, but here they are picking up spray cans and with all these colors. And I interviewed them after, and they loved it. They were like, wow, it's not as easy as it looks, like you guys do it so effortlessly. And then I explained to them that I've been doing it for decades, but. So day number 1, they got a chance to get used to the spray cans, and day number 2 was all about painting the mural. So on day number 2, what we did is we got together, we sat down in the morning time, and let me rewind it a little bit. Some people were just like, oh, let's just go and paint something on the wall for them, and I'm like, no, that's not going to work. Instead, what we need to do is we need to get a little bit of everybody's ideas so we could put it together and make something nice. So what we did is we decided to go and for each person to choose something out of their drawing book that they think would look really nice in the mural. So some people had drums, some people had watermelon, some people had somebody had a man playing the guitar. Somebody had the cotton tree. The cotton tree is is the center of all culture, of all tradition. It's basically the heart of Freetown. You know what I mean? As I understand, this is where the entire the Constitution was written. For Freetown, that all men and women are born and free and created equal. You know what I mean? So this is where that Constitution was penned and written, created, and. So it holds so much significance. But here we are, we got the cotton tree, we've got old housing structures, we've got new buildings, we've got hills, we've got the water, because Sierra Leone is right on the waterfront. we've got the beach, we've got a woman carrying a, excuse me, a woman carrying, you know what I mean, a basket on her head with fruits and vegetables, and then also that we thought it would be nice to do a tribute, you know, to a local famous musician from Sierra Leone named Dr. Ola. So yeah, it was tough. We looked in everybody's books. Everybody came up with something, put it together. Like, okay, give us 5 minutes, and then each of us drew an outline with the ideas and concepts that they came up with. So I put together, you know what I mean, some hills. Luckily, you know, I'm really happy. You know, my concept, my idea was chosen, and that's what we did. And we went outside. I outlined everything first, just to put a, you know what I mean, put the key line, the center line, you know, make sure, you know, this is the center point. This is where the hills are gonna be. You know, the cotton tree is gonna come up in this area. So I put like a really basic outline, and one by one started to get the artists involved. Sooner or later, they started to really, you know, I'm talking about really grasp it and just go and do their own thing. Like they're like flowers, you know, they just go and paint the flowers, or they're just, and it was still if you think about it, it was such a humongous learning curve, you know what I mean? But to be able just to throw caution to the wind and to listen and to learn and to just be in the moment, I'm telling you, they did it with like 100% passion, 100% commitment, and they were developing the skills as they go. And for me, it was a very humbling experience. At the end of it, the smiles on people's faces, people were just so happy. People were just like, it was just like, you could just feel people's hearts just beating. The ministers, even the minister of the of the Ministry of Tourism, Cultural Affairs, they came, they greeted, they was just so happy, you know, with the outcome. And not only that, that painting, it sent a ripple, you know, to many people in Sierra Leone, which I thought was wonderful. Because then people came back to me and they were like, oh, you know, we love that. We heard about it, or we saw it, and, you know, surely that's the meaning of art, you know, to create those type of, you know, positive ripples. So, you know, hands down, that was one of my favorite lifetime experiences for sure.
So what kind of age group were they?
It was ranging. Like we had some. I would say the youngest there was about 19. The youngest was 19. And it ranged from like to 70s, so it was, which was really nice. And it was also a very.
You were saying that they kind of wanted you to keep it to the kind of officials, but you wanted to go out amongst the people, the ordinary people there. And
say that again.
You were saying that they wanted you to kind of meet just with the officials and stuff, but you wanted to, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the nature of it, because you know, there's a lot of how do I put it? In its most simple form, like art has the capability to create so much of an impact, and it's a movement in itself. So it makes sense that they would want, you know, a lot of the larger, more influential, you know, aspects of society. Of course, they're gonna want to reinforce that, you know, with some type of art. But for me personally, when I knew that I was going out there, and even before that, because it's just something that I enjoy in life. Like I'm all about, I would never go somewhere and just sit on some resort. I'm not interested in that. It always has to be connecting with the people, because I want to have 100% experience. I'm interested in learning. I'm interested in about finding out. I'm interested in seeing how people live. I'm interested in understanding the culture, and I'm interested in sharing in whatever way, shape, or form that I can myself. So for me, it was about going and connecting with the people, and I met some of the most beautiful people, many people in some of the, what I would call some of the harshest conditions. Like, that was not nice and that was not pretty. But at the same time, people living in the harshest conditions also had some of the most beautiful personalities, you know what I mean, and beautiful ways about them, and they shared, and and to me, that was one of the most beautiful things, you know. When I left, you know what I mean, some of the children had tears in their eyes, like, you know, to have that, you know, to see that, you know, that love, you know what I mean, it's such a beautiful and such a moving thing, you know what I mean, and it has nothing to do with money, you know what I mean, it has nothing to do with that, it has to do with the hearts of people. And it was really lovely to see that. And another thing in Sierra Leone that I gotta say is that also in Sierra Leone, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like where you start from in life. You are judged based on what you put in life. You're not judged on status, racism, and all that dumb shit that happens over here. Do you get what I'm saying? It's based on the work that people put in, the effort that they put in. You can start from there and you can rise to whatever level you want. And that's one thing that I thought was fantastic and correct.